and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I want to discuss Ministry's fourth record, and that is the decidedly much more aggressive and harder sounding The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. And this is the direct follow-up to The Land of Rape and Honey, which, oh God, Stigmata's on there. I love that song. Which would really be their last sort of full-on electronic work, I suppose. Everything Ministry does would always have a huge electronic aspect to it, but it feels like this record forward is where Ministry got a lot harder. Ministry started involving a lot more guitars, and Jourgensen would become sort of like a metal god throughout the early 90s with the release of Psalm 69 and the success of NWO, Jesus Build My Hot Rod, and Just One Fix. And this was kind of the record that would kick that journey to fame and fortune off. Now, like every Ministry record, the standard complaints that I have are the songs are too long. Every song on here could have been reduced by, well, with tracks like So What, for example, that could have been reduced by 3 or 4 minutes. But every song on here, in my opinion, would have benefited greatly by having the overall track length reduced by at least a minute. Most of these songs are 5 to 8 and 9 minutes apiece, and I'm just not into that. This is, and the aspects of this record are so formulaic, like the drum patterns, like they just keep repeating, and it's like there's no reason that this song should be 5, 6, 7 minutes long. And I don't know. The worst part is too, this is the other problem I found with Ministry's records overall, is for the most part it's like they put the sort of catchy single attitude into the songwriting for the first few songs on their records, and those songs are decidedly very catchy and very fun, and this record is certainly no exception. Thieves, Burning Inside, and Never Believe are by far the 3 catchiest songs on this album, and they are the 3 that open the record up. I will still argue that Thieves, Burning Inside, and Never Believe are all a little on the long side, but then it just feels like Cannibal Song, Through Breathe, and So What gets catchy enough here and there, but it's like an 8-minute song, so who cares? It's just like, Jesus Christ, it didn't have to be 8 minutes long. And then Through Faith Collapsing, it always feels like the first few songs on a Ministry record are there to sell the album and to sort of show everybody that Jourgensen and company are incredibly gifted songwriters. And then the rest of the record is where they're free to just do a bunch of drugs and churn out this really wild sounding, sort of more experimental industrial stuff. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. Like, Jourgensen is an incredibly talented guy, but what I hate is how it does legitimately feel like the first few songs are catchier and they're more fun, they have more bounce, they have more single appeal. And then the rest of the record, it's almost like they're like, yeah, okay, we've achieved what, the label wants, and now they said we've got the freedom to do whatever we want, so we're just going to get fucking weird. And that seems to be what they always do. Or at least that seems to be what they always do as far as I'm concerned. I always feel like Thieves is so much fun, and I love the Full Metal Jacket samples. I love that so much. And that was the other thing, too, that I absolutely love about Ministry, is how they sort of have, them and White Zombie, Rob Zombie, sort of have this love affair with movies where they'll put in constant samples from endless amounts of movies throughout the course of their entire discography. And I do find that really fun because me, like everybody else on planet Earth, I love movies. So getting to oh wow, hey, check it, that's, what's his name from the second Hellraiser, or that's so-and-so from Full Metal Jacket, or oh dude, that's totally Scarface at the end when he's like fighting everybody. And it's cool because it's like, it brings together music and movies in 2 very separate ways. And keep in mind, when I heard this way back when I was like a kid, nobody was doing that. The only other band at that point that I could think of that was doing things like this would have been Skinny Puppy. And I'm sure that technically there were probably more bands using, samples from movies in their music at this point when I was like 10 years old. But because I was 10, I had such a limited ability to find these bands. I'm sure that Skinny Puppy and Ministry weren't the only two, but they were the only two that I knew of at that point, and that totally fucking impressed me, because it was like, yeah, you know, dude, they like Full Metal Jacket. I love Full Metal Jacket. I can relate to this band so much more. Like, it pretty much should be in the band, basically. There's 10-year-old me saying that to myself, right? But yeah, this record is a lot of fun. I don't love the title, The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. It's a play off the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. The mind is a terrible thing to taste. I don't get it, because you can't taste a mind. It's kind of annoying. I mean, what would your mind taste like? What would a person's mind taste like? Like, is your mind's tasting based upon your personality? Like, you know, that really bubbly, fun person, do they taste like ice cream or candy or whatever? And that really serious, sort of hard-working type, do they taste like clean protein that isn't going to add any sugar or fat? You know, and the person that's kind of reckless and bouncy and fun, do they taste like drugs and alcohol? I don't know. It's a fucking awkward title. But yeah. So look, I'm going to go. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little over 6.5 minutes while I discussed Ministry's first foray into guitar-based craziness, and that is The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. And if these videos ever get popular enough and somebody actually made it to the end of this video, be sure to put what you think your mind tastes like in the comments. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button, because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.